The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN. Then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne. Today is Wednesday. I think it might be the 3rd of May. And we've got an OG special to handicap 10 MLB games as close as damn it for Thursday, May the 4th. Joining us from his rocking chair, remembering when this was all fields, etc., is Mr. Munaf Manji. Munaf, how you doing?
Doing well, Mal. Yeah, we got some day baseball on Wednesday to get us through the work day, but we also have Thursday's always a day we look forward to, right? Because that's typically the day we have baseball starting early in the day, at least here in the States. I know you get to watch it as well, but yeah, 10-game schedule. Looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, there's been some baseball today. The Tigers rolled over the Mets earlier. I got quite excited because I put the Tigers up as my dog, but I think it was the other leg of the doubleheader that I had. I'd faded Scherzer rather than whoever pitched in that first one for Detroit. Brendan Fart went for the D-backs in a bit of a wild one with Texas. That is 12-7. That's flip-flopped in both directions. Reds and the Padres under. Looks good. Lewis Sessa and Seth Lugo we thought would go okay. So yeah, bits and bobs going on today. The YouTube chat, as ever, is full of beans. Blaine Albright was already waiting for us when we get here. Good evening, Jake, JT's brother, TVDBJ, the captain's here, etc. So yeah, loads of stuff going on. Liverpool were just very lucky and won 1-0. Munaf, I was incredibly agitated watching that. The IT department went to bed because I was shouting at the TV so much. But hopefully we will cling on to our Champions League spot, Newcastle, and won't get caught by Liverpool. So tomorrow, let's have a look what's going on. 10 games. There are 2 off the board. I do not know why, because I've got pictures for everything else, but the Cubs are officially TBD, and the other game that's off the board is Baltimore and Kansas City. I've had pictures for 12 hours for that game, so I don't know. Maybe we might get some lines between now and then. But we will start with a 1:05 Eastern first pitch, and it is that game that's off the board, so we can whiz through this one pretty sharpish. The Chicago Cubs at the Washington Nationals. So officially TBD for the Cubs. I think it's Jameson Taillon, Munaf. Patrick Corbin will go for the Nationals, the lefty. But yeah, I mean, have you got Taillon, and have you seen any odds that I haven't?
I just refreshed the page. I didn't see anything updated, but I mean, you already mentioned the pitcher for the Nationals. I think that's where this handicap starts, and that's where the handicap ends. It's Patrick Corbin Day.
I don't mind him, you know. He's not won a game or two so far this season.
Yeah, it's really, I think you could target him in the first 5 innings, is where you make your money with Patrick Corbin, whether that's opposing team total or just taking the first 5 run line for the opposing team facing Corbin. But I think I'm going to check this, double check. I want to say the Nationals bullpen has been decent this year thus far. Let me see if I can pull that up. I mean, they're kind of middle of the pack there, but I mean, I think Gambling Total knows that when Patrick Corbin's on the mound, you usually want to fade him at least in the first 5 innings. So I think that was the direction I was looking at least.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I had a little look at Jameson Taillon because his numbers aren't great, but he's well up there in just about all the MLB percentiles for all the pitching stats that you want to look at, really, all the categories. So I think this is he's deserved a little bit better than his numbers so far. So if Taillon does go, this is a great chance for him to pick up the win. So yeah, the lean would be the Cubs, obviously, but it's hard to give an awful lot out else on this one. Did you find those Washington numbers, Muna?
Yeah, their team bullpen ERA is around 4.19, which is right around middle of the pack in the MLB. But yeah, I refreshed the page again one more time. I don't see any odds up yet. So definitely leaning towards the Cubs here, whether it's Tyone. But as long as Corbin's on the mound, I'm going to fade the Nationals.
Okay, the next two games on the slate, I really, really liked handicapping. Two fascinating pitching matchups. 1:10 Eastern first pitch is the New York Mets at the Detroit Tigers. Justin Verlander will pitch for the Mets, and Eduardo Rodriguez, left-handed pitcher, goes to the mound for the Tigers. The Mets are minus 190. The Tigers are plus 160. I don't see the total because I didn't write it down off that screenshot you sent me. Have you got a total, Moonoff?
7.5.
7.5. So, JV, obviously getting his first start for the Mets. He was great last year for the Astros. 18-4, 175 ERA. 40 years of age now. We've been looking at the older pictures in MLB and fading them. Well, I have fading them a little bit. I can't see any reason why we don't expect Verlander to be the similar, the same picture that we saw last year. We've got the same issues that we had really with handicapping all the opening day studs. Will the pitch clock affect him? How's he going to go against the shift? It's kind of it's an opening day vibe we're getting of Verlander. Erod for Detroit, however, he's been absolutely outstanding, really. He's had 4 top starts in a row. He's got a 2-2 record with a 2.21 ERA. His whip is down at 0.87. So he's keeping the Ducks off the pun. Those last 4 starts, 26 2/3. He's given up 2 earned runs. He can go 7 or 8 innings as well. He has done recently. So we're not relying on this Tigers bullpen to get it done. He's got a 0.66 home ERA. Won both of his starts at home. I absolutely love this. I faded the Mets for the second half of this doubleheader tonight. So I've probably got the wrong one because the Tigers have already won the first leg of the doubleheader. But I'm going to take them again tomorrow. Question marks over Verlander, but no question marks over Detroit. I think you can be confident. And plus 160 is too big a price. So I'm going to take the home dog, Moonaf, please.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely nailed it. Since April 12th, at least over his last 4 starts, he's only allowed 2 earned runs in about 26 2/3 innings pitched. I mean,
26 2/3, yeah.
That's really good. So, and he's been good at home, like you mentioned as well, 2-0 with a 0.44 ERA. And it is Verlander's first start off of the IL, or at least for this year, however you want to, split it. But I think you also mentioned that some of these older pitchers having to deal with that, I was going to say shot clock, but pitch clock, they've been struggling with it. So I think there's some value here on the home dog here. And also Eduardo Rodriguez, a left-handed pitcher. The Mets have been kind of middle of the pack as far as success against left-handed pitching so far this season. They're number 16 in WRC plus. Team batting average is around 231, which ranks number 22. If you don't want to lay the money line price, I think there might be some value on that plus 1.5 at minus 110 as well for the Detroit Tigers. So I'm with you on the Tigers here.
Yes, Team Ride. Captain Insano likes the dog as well. Love it. The next game I absolutely love as well, but I'm going to tell you first about Shady Rays and Shady May. Shady Rays is teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. This is such a hard read to do in my accent, Moonaf. You've proper booby trapped me. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off, but you also have a chance to win $500. Shady Rays have got you covered from the sun to the slopes with their premium polarized shades, snow goggles, etc. Durable frames, clear optics, but the insane protection of getting anything lost or broken replaced, even from day one, no questions asked. So you can wear your Shady Rays with confidence. If you don't love them, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop the Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 Shady May contest. Bosh. Next, 1:10 Eastern first pitch is the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Tampa Bay Rays. Vince Velasquez draws the start for Pittsburgh. Zach Eflin, similar for Tampa Bay. Plus 155 for the Buccos, minus 180 for the Rays. Total is set at 8. Moonaf, I like this game. What have you got?
Yeah, both of these pitchers have actually been pretty good. Vince Velasquez over the last couple starts here. So on the season, he's 4-2 with a 3.06 ERA. Last 3 starts, he's 3-0 with a 1.42 ERA. On the road, he's been really good as well. 3-1 with a 2.38 ERA. And Zach Eflin, the Rays starting pitcher, the Rays have actually won all 4 of his starts this season when he's been on the mound for them. He was coming off of a 10-day IL, has made 2 starts since then, but both were against the White Sox, which he was really good against. He had 10 innings pitched against that team in back-to-back starts and allowed only 2 earned runs in that span. So I like what I've seen from Zach Eflin. Vince Velasquez, I think historically in his career, Mal, that he's been a pitcher that has struggled on the road. And if you take a look at his career against the current batting lineup of the Tampa Bay Rays, they have I believe it was 345 batting average against him in 33 plate appearances. Zach Eflin, not much better at 313. The Pirates have a batting average against him, but it's only 18 plate appearances. I don't want to lay a minus 180 price here. I would possibly look at the over in this game. I think we could see some runs despite, Velasquez being in good form. Hasn't been against the greatest competition. I like the over 8, and I would also look at the Rays run line in this game as well.
So you made a couple of points, Moonaf, that was pretty much my handicap. They both got good numbers so far this season. They've both had really soft starts. They both faced a lot of weak opposition. You mentioned Eflin had the White Sox a couple of times. When Eflin's was quite an intriguing guy at the start of the season, obviously coming into the rotation. He was on closing duties at the back end of last year. When I handicapped this earlier on, I wanted to look at the prices. I handicapped them without seeing any odds. I only saw odds about an hour ago. And I was happy to take whichever team for me represented better value. So if Tampa Bay had been nearer minus 140 with Pittsburgh plus 130, I would have taken Tampa. At the prices, as you just said, I'm not interested in Tampa and Eflin at minus 180. But plus 155, I think, is a very competitive price on Pittsburgh. Competitive is what they have been. I think the YouTube comments agree with me. Captain Insano says the dogs are continuing to bark. So I'm going to take another punt with the outsider here. I'll take Pittsburgh at plus 155. Next up is 115. More day sport, loads of day sport tomorrow. The LA Angels at the St. Louis Cardinals. Griffin Canning will go for the Angels, and Jack Flaherty goes for St. Louis. Plus 125 on the Angels, minus 145 on the Cards, and the total is set at 8.5. Griffin Canning has started 3 games now. We've talked about him quite a lot, actually, since he came up. Intriguing character. Has a 1-0 record, 4.11 ERA. He's had 3 almost identical starts. You get 5 innings, 2 or 3 earned runs. Hasn't struck out many. He's two of his starts, he struck out 4 batters. The third start, he struck out 7. He's in the 93rd percentile for whiff rate. So he can get a lot of swing and miss. He can induce some swings. I think there's more Ks to come. So I wouldn't put you off a Cannon K prop tomorrow, first of all. I think that's an option. Jack Flaherty, 2-3 with a 3.94 ERA. He started okay, but he's on the slide. Every start is worse than the last one. Here's my stat of the day, Munaf. It doesn't actually apply to this game, but I heard it, so I'm going to throw it out. The Cards have lost 10 straight series openers, which is pretty impressive. That's good, that isn't it? So they did that again last night against the Angels. St. Louis are 2-8 in their last 10. Flaherty's last home start against the Diamondbacks was bad. Everything's pointing to another dog, Munaf. Los Angeles Angels, please, on the money line, plus 125 for me.
Yeah, walks are also concerned with Flaherty, right? I know early in the season he had given up 13 walks in 2 starts, and he's only allowed, and I say only, but it's still pretty bad where he's allowed, I think, 8 walks in the last 4 starts as well, average around 2. But, you have a dangerous lineup with Ohtani, Trout, Tyler Ward has been good. Rendon has gotten better from last season. I know a lot of the season he was injured last year, but Griffin Canning has been consistent, I think is what we can say. I think both teams can give up, both pitchers will give up a couple runs here. I agree with you about the Angels here on the money line. Full game, their pitching, their bullpen has been vastly improved since last season. I know you and I talked about this a lot, going back to the first year we were doing this pod, that, their bullpen was something that needed to improve. They finally did that this season, where their bullpen ERA is 3.02. But I look at the first 5 innings over here. I also do like the Angels full game money line with you as well. I just don't trust Flaherty yet. He's not the pitcher that he was, prior to those injuries, obviously. So I don't know. Angels for me as well.
Captain Insano saying he's sticking with me like the fig jam. I got the fig jam out my beard. Captain Insano, you'll be pleased to hear. So I'm nice and soft and smooth again. I had a little wash. I'm like that. I have a wash once a week, Munaf, whether I need it or not. That is how seriously I take personal hygiene. That's a proper dad joke, but it's sorry, everyone. It is an old man special.
He takes more baths than showers. I can confirm that much.
Yeah, but I don't get washed in the bath, as discussed. I just fester in my own filth there for hours on end. The enduring image for everyone. 2:10 Eastern first pitch is the Baltimore Orioles and the Kansas City Royals. Grayson Rodriguez for the Orioles and Jordan Lyles takes the ball for Kansas City. No odds, Munaf. Why is there no odds on this? I've had these pictures for about 18 hours. What's going on?
Let's see if there's an update here. Orioles and Royals. Oh, that's today. Tomorrow? No, nothing yet. I don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting for us to talk it through and then they post their odds.
Probably.
I think that's
that makes sense. Go on, then. You tell us about it.
I mean, Royals at home, dude. Is there much more to add? I know I'll talk about the pitchers here in a second, but what, they're like 1-12, 1-13 now at home. But Grayson Rodriguez takes the mound for the Baltimore Orioles. So far this season, just lost it on my page here. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't see. Okay, so let me start with Jordan Lyles here then. So Lyles in his last start, he got absolutely blown up by the Minnesota Twins. He allowed 7 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. He's allowed at least 4 earned runs in 4 of the last 5 starts. And the Royals have lost all 6 starts this season by Jordan Lyles. Overall, the season 0-5 with a 6.11 ERA, 0-3 in his last 3 starts with a 7.00 ERA. So it's just he's just been bad in it. This is another day game like we're talking about, Mal. And I think 4 of his 5 starts already this season have actually come during the day. And in those games, he's allowed 17 earned runs in 21 innings pitched, 0-4 during the day with a 7.29 ERA. Grayson Rodriguez for the Baltimore Orioles, he does have an ERA of 4.07 this season. He is 1-0. His last 2 starts have actually been really good, but they were against one of the worst offenses in the league, which was the Detroit Tigers. But this is another team that's really bad on offense. I mean, you take a look at some of their statistics at home offensively, Mal, they're bottom in the league in almost all of the categories. If not, they're the worst. If not, they're the second worst. So I know that Jordan Lyles looks like he's had some success against this Baltimore Orioles lineup, but I cannot bet on this Royals team right now, especially at home. I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles in this game, whether it's on the run line or the money line. I just think that this Royals team is just really bad. So if you want to take in the first 5 innings, that's fine. If you take full game, I mean, that bullpen is also bad as well. They're one of the worst. So it's all Orioles here for me here, Mel.
For the second time, Munaf, you have taken the key part of my handicap. It's almost like this show isn't just thrown together, Munaf. So it was the Grayson Rodriguez, without being outstanding, did take advantage of the Detroit Tigers twice and finds himself in a great spot here against KC. KC are going to win tonight as well against Zach Greinke is going to get the win, which means they're definitely going to lose tomorrow with Jordan Lyles on the hill. So, yeah, don't know what the prices will be. We could do with the Rockford lines, but we don't have them. So, yeah, Baltimore money line or Baltimore run line. TVDBJ reckons over City. Wants to see some runs. Serial has joined us. 21 minutes late, Serial. Just Venmo the money. We'll put it straight in the fine jar. Right, I'll tell you about Underdog Fantasy probably before we crack on. Underdog Fantasy have got Best Ball Mania 4 underway at the moment, giving away $15 million in prizes, plus plenty of ways to win with NBA, NHL, and MLB with their player prop parlays. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Also, it's Kentucky Derby week and the notorious OTB, brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network for all your Triple Crown bets. Plus, leave a review for the show wherever you get your podcast between now and Belmont Saturday on June the 10th. You'll be entered into a draw to win a canvas print of the Wolves' one-of-a-kind Fallen Bob painting. The Kentucky Derby, Munaf. I'll show you something here. These 2 pages of notes, Munaf, have all the Kentucky Derby information on. All the winners are in there. It's under lock and key until tomorrow when I go on the mothership with Sean and Ryan at some point tomorrow. So if you want the Kentucky Derby winners, I fetched out some beauties. I've got the first 4 in the correct order. So that'll probably pay about $1 million to 1. So I'd advise anyone to tune in because it's really, really going to be worthwhile. And there will be an article going up as well. So you can read everything that I say if you can't get enough of me. 2:10 Eastern first pitch between the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. Pablo Lopez for the Twins and Lucas Giolito for the Chicago White Sox. -140 on Minnesota, +120 on Chicago. Total is set at 8.5. Munaf.
Pablo Lopez so far this season, 2-2 with a 4.00 ERA. Has struggled over his last couple starts here. Trying to pull up the exact numbers. Yeah, so he's given up at least 5 earned runs over his last 2 starts, which was against the Nationals and against like we just talked about, one of the worst offenses in the league in the Kansas City Royals. So that's a little alarming there. 10 innings pitched in his last 2 starts, 11 earned runs that he's allowed. But prior to that, he did face the Chicago White Sox back on April 11th in his 3rd start at home in Minnesota, where he had a really good outing. 7 2/3 innings pitched in that game. He allowed only 2 earned runs, struck out 10 batters in that game. The Twins did get the victory in extra innings, 4-3. Lucas Giolito for the White Sox gets the start here. So far on the season, Mal, he's 1-2 with a 4.15 ERA. Has been slowly improving. His last 3 starts, he has an ERA of 2.75. He's only had 2 home starts this season where he's actually been really good in the south side of Chicago. He's 1-0 with a 1.42 ERA. He's only allowed 2 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings pitched in Chicago. Giolito against the Twins in his career. Trying to pull up those numbers here exactly. Give me a second here. So he is 8-9 with a 4.03 ERA. This goes all the way back to 2017. So I'm gonna filter this down till 2022. The wins haven't been there, but he does still have a great ERA against the Twins with a 2.67. And then also looking at how he's done against his current lineup of the Minnesota Twins, $1.98 batting average for the Minnesota Twins. So I think we might just see a bit of a pitching battle here, Mal. I'm gonna go with the under 8 in this game. I know the White Sox are on your do not bet list, but they did make a significant amount of roster moves prior to yesterday's game where they actually won in extra innings. I think there may be some value here on the Chicago White Sox at plus 120. So I'm going to pinch my nose here a little bit, Mal. I'm going to take the White Sox with Giolito on the mound plus 120, but I really do like the under in this game as well.
Noah has chirped up in the comment section because he's a big Justin Verlander fanboy. It was a team ride, Noah, on the Tigers. We discussed it at length, myself and Munaf, and everybody in the comments all want the Tigers. So that's what's going to go down tomorrow. Well, Munaf, strap yourself in here for my Chicago White Sox pick. They made all the roster changes yesterday in a bid to shake something up. And they've been repaid with back-to-back walk-off wins. So maybe just a little bit of mojo back for the White Sox. I think Lopez is opposable, and I really like Giolito's home numbers. Mm-hmm. So for the first time since, I reckon, about April the 8th, I'm going to take the Chicago White Sox plus 120. That is my pick. They're off the naughty list until tomorrow when they get beat 15-0. And they will be right back on the naughty list. I fancy it tomorrow.
I think we may need to shrink it down to maybe first 5 innings because I still don't trust this bullpen, Mel. Because it is one of the worst.
Yeah, true story, yeah. One way or another, we'll get the White Sox in the winner's circle tomorrow. 3:10 Eastern first pitch is the Milwaukee Brewers at the Colorado Rockies. We have Wade Miley, left-handed pitcher for the Brewers, and Connor Seabold, great Tash, will pitch for the Colorado Rockies. Minus 140 on the Brewers, plus 120 on Colorado. Total is set at 12.5. There's a Coors Field special, that one. So Miley, 3-1 record, 186 ERA. He's been great. He hasn't shown any weakness in terms of command or he's not walking batters. However, his metrics really wonky. He concerns me. He relies on his cutter a lot. I don't know if that will cut in Coors Field. So, I'm not convinced by Miley at all tomorrow. This will be a bullpen game for Colorado. I think you'll get 3 innings max out of Connor Seabold. He's got a 5.27 ERA so far this season. Again, like I say, short starts or appearances out of the bullpen. Fastball slider guy, doesn't walk many. And the key to this is to keeping it in the yard. He hasn't given up any home runs at home. So I'm not having Miley tomorrow. I think Colorado in the first 5 is a live pick here. If Seabold can keep it, like I say, in the yard, which he has been good at home, then Colorado can get their noses in front by taking Miley apart early on in this game, Muna.
Yeah, so I think something's got to give in this game because Miley, like you mentioned, has been really good during thus far this season for the Brewers, but his numbers in Coors Field have not been very good. But also on the flip side, you can make the argument that Colorado is one of the worst teams against left-handed pitching. Actually, they are the worst team against left-handed pitching thus far this season. They're dead last in WRC plus. They're down there in batting average against left-handed pitchers as well. Slugging percentage, it's below average, well below average as well, bottom 4 in the league. So this was one of the harder games for me to handicap here, Mal. I think that if the Brewers are going to win this game, it's going to have to be they're going to have to score some runs here, and I think they can take advantage of this Rockies bullpen. If Wade Miley can get you through about 4 to 5 innings here, I think that they can pull out this victory here, but I want to bank on the Brewers putting up some runs in this game with the bullpen going here for the Colorado Rockies. So I like team total over in this game for the Brewers, and I would lean with the Brewers here as well.
Okie doke. 3:37 Eastern first pitch. The Seattle Mariners at the Oakland Athletics. George Kirby for Seattle and Drew Rucinski gets the start for the A's. Minus 215 prohibitive price on the Mariners, plus 185 on Oakland. Total is set at 8.5. Munaf.
Yeah, George Kirby, I think, was supposed to start on Wednesday, but he got switched with Logan Gilbert. But George Kirby, since the first start of the season, where he did give up 4 earned runs to the Angels, but since then he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of the 4 starts. He's allowed a total of 6 earned runs in about, 26 innings pitched since that first start. Last 3 starts, 2-1 with a 2.21 ERA. He's been really good on the road. 14 innings pitched thus far this season, 2 earned runs. And he's not a guy that gives up a lot of walks either. He's only had, I think, 2 walks on the season thus far. And he's last season against the A's, in 2 starts against the A's, he pitched really, really well against that team in Oakland. Drew Riskinski got his first start last week against the Reds. Did get into trouble. I think it was that second inning where he allowed 5 earned runs. I think you have to go with the Mariners here. I think it's on the run line for me. Oakland A's bullpen hasn't been the best this season. I think they are one of the worst as well, right down there with the Royals and the White Sox. And their starting pitching hasn't been very good either. So I am going to go with the Mariners run line in this game, and I would expect the Mariners put up some runs in this game as well.
Yeah, this was just trying to find the right bet to take once you'd established that Seattle were going to win comfortably. Kirby's improving. He's really settling into a nice rhythm now this season. Raczynski, he was just really hittable last time. He gave out 11 hits in 1 walk. So my pick was going to be, you mentioned it, the Seattle team total. Where are we going to end up when they're 4.5, maybe 5.5, 3.5?
Probably
like
4.5, maybe juiced. I think 4.5 would be the fair number.
But yeah, Raczynski, if they get those ducks on the pond, I know that Seattle haven't been great offensively, but they shouldn't need to be able to put up 5 runs tomorrow off Raczynski and the rest of whatever the A's have to offer in that one. Next, the penultimate game of the card is the 4:10 Eastern first pitch. Well done, Munaf. You joined in for once. The Atlanta Braves at the Miami Marlins. Max Fried, left-handed pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. Jesus Luzardo, left-handed pitcher for the Miami Marlins. Fried is minus 155, and the Braves, the Marlins plus 135. Total is set at 7.5. Probably, maybe after Verlander and Rodriguez, the pitching matchup of the night here. Munaf, what do you think?
Yeah, Max Fried of the Braves pitching staff has having a Cy Young season, we can say. I know he only pitched about 20 innings thus far, but I think went on the IL after his first start for the Braves. But since he's returned, 3 starts, he's pitched a total of 16 2/3 innings pitched and allowed a whopping 0 earned runs. So he's getting into that territory of Zach Gallen, where he was on his scoreless streak as far as innings pitched. So the Braves have won 3 out of his 4 starts so far this season, all by 2 or more runs. And against the Marlins, I should say, in his career, he's actually been really good. I know the Marlins are a good left-handed pitcher hitting team, but I think that with the form that right now Max Fried is in right now, I don't want to get in front of that train right now. And then last season, now 2 starts against the Miami Marlins, 11 innings pitched, allowed only 6 hits and only 1 earned run against his Miami Marlins team. Now you look at Jesus Luzardo. He got off to a great start during the season for the Miami Marlins, but in that span since then, he's kind of been up and down for this Marlins pitching rotation. I'm trying to pull up the exact numbers here for him. Where is he? All right, here we go. So on the season thus far, he is 2-1 with a 3.42 ERA. But over his last 3 starts, 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in 3 out of the last 4 starts. And I just think this is a good spot here for the Braves. So I'm going to take the Braves run line here, -1.5 with Max Fried on the mound.
Yeah. I mean, those 16 and 2/3 scoreless have come against the Padres, the Astros, and the Mets. So it's not like we
Three of the
talked
better
earlier on about,
offenses.
Velasquez and Eflin taking on White Sox, Reds, etc. Luzardo is gradually regressing. He's still good. I like him. He started the season supremely well, but I think was never going to be able to keep that up completely. I watched a lot of Bryce Elder last night, pitching for the Braves at the Marlins. This, to me, looks like a really good comp game. I don't know why this would be any different. Atlanta kind of held them at arm's length. Did it finish 5-0 or 5-1? Something along those lines. Not very exciting, but this just looks like a real good building block bet for your evening card tomorrow. So yeah, I'll take Atlanta. Bit short, -155, but if you shop around, there'll be a -150. So I will be quite happy to give that unit and a half play out. One game left to go. I nearly called it there, Moonoff. I forgot about the 6:10 Eastern first pitch between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays and Brian Bello for the Red Sox. -140 on Toronto, +120 on Boston. Total set at 9. Gausman 2-2, 2.33 ERA. He's had one bad start. That is very much the outlier. Looking back through his game, his last 2 starts in Fenway last season weren't great. He went 5 innings twice, gave up 3 earned runs and 4 earned runs. Matt Chapman was given the American League Player of the Month today for Toronto. They have lost 3 in a row as well. And the road form's not great. 9-9 on the road has letting them down a bit. Boston, with a 4-game winning streak, have got themselves back to within a game and a half of the Blue Jays. Brian Bello, I like. Sorry, shouldn't say we.
Yeah.
Yes, I like him. 0-1, 657. That doesn't tell the story, Moon. He got inflated by that horrible rainy day on Patriots Day when they started like 8 o'clock in the morning. It was pissing down with rain. Everyone was freezing cold. He got hit a little bit. But apart from that, he's been fine. His last start was his best. So I'm going to take under either the under 9 or the first 5 under Moonaf. I think Gosman's flying, but I do think I've got to give Bello a little bit of rope to see if he can keep the Blue Jays off the board tomorrow.
So last season, Kevin Gausman, I believe, had 5 starts against the Red Sox during the regular season, and the Blue Jays won all 5 of those starts last year when Kevin Gausman got the start. Now, you mentioned it. Sorry, 6 starts actually in that span. But like you mentioned, he did struggle in Fenway Park against the Red Sox here. But I do like the form that he is in right now for the Toronto Blue Jays. I just haven't been able to get behind Bello yet. I think he's more of a pitcher that, again, walks are a little bit of a concern for him. They were really a big concern last season, but he seems like he's worked on that a little bit, but he's still given up walks so far. I know 2 is not a huge number, but the whip is high for him. He's also allowed a home run in each of his starts so far this season. Last year against the last season against the Blue Jays, I don't think he did very well. I'm trying to put up those exact numbers right now. Last year, 0-2 with a 7.62 ERA in 3 appearances against the Toronto Blue Jays. He allowed at least 4 earned runs in 2 out of 3 starts last season against the Blue Jays. So I like the Blue Jays in this spot. I think Kevin Gausman will be able to pitch better and continue the form that he is in right now. I would look at a strikeout prop here for him as well. He's been able to rack up the strikeouts. The last 2 starts, Mal, against the Mariners and against the Yankees, he had double-digit strikeouts. In fact, 3 out of his last 4 starts, Mal, he's had 11 or more strikeouts against the opposition. So I'm going to back the Blue Jays here on the run line. I think the Blue Jays offense will have success against Bello, and I think that Gausman will at least contain the bats of the Boston Red Sox in this game.
Okie doke. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's got us to the end of those 10 games. Looks like there's been a fire drill in the YouTube watchers. Everyone's disappeared, Moonaf. The place is on flames. Lock and dog time. What have you got for us? Oh, you just stuck your water bottle in your mouth when I asked you that. Sorry. Okay.
All right. So for my lock, I really wanted to get there with the Brewers, but I feel like this might be a game where Wade Miley comes back down to reality. So I'll pass that one. Now it's up to minus 145 anyways. But for my log, give me the Atlanta Braves on the run line here against the Miami Marlins. I don't know why it's off the board now, but it was at a plus price, but I will take that as my log. Max Fried is just in really good form right now. He's had success against the Marlins, like I mentioned last season, in 2 starts where he only allowed 1 earned run and 10 plus innings pitched against the Marlins. And Marlins, I know against left-handed pitching, they do pretty well, but I think Max Fried is just on a whole other level right now. So I'll take the Braves run line minus 1.5. Should be at plus money. If not, it's probably around even money as my lock. For my dog, there's no first 5 innings price yet. I would have taken the White Sox, but I'll just go with the last game that we just talked about. Toronto Blue Jays minus 1.5 plus 110 on the run line as well. I'm not a fan of Brian Bello. I think that the bats of the Blue Jays will be able to get to him in this game. Kevin Gausman, like I mentioned, double-digit strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 starts. And last season in 6 starts, the Blue Jays won all 6 of the starts that he started in against the Red Sox. So I think he can continue his form here as well. So I'll take the Blue Jays minus 1.5 plus 110 on the run line as my dog there, Mel.
Okie doke. I've painted myself into a bit of a corner here because I've got just about everything I've given out quite a fancy underdog price. I've got Atlanta short, but a little bit too. It was minus 155. You probably shame me if I give that out. I'll give out as my look Baltimore on the run line. I think. See, Grayson Rodriguez hasn't been great, but it'll be good enough to turn over whatever Jordan Lyles and the Royals can muster up tomorrow. For my dog, man, I had a plethora of underdogs here. The White Sox were an option at plus 120. I have Pittsburgh at plus 155. I've got the Angels at plus 125. However, I will go with the
White Sox alone because I feel like you were going to take the White Sox. That's why I left it alone.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Detroit. I love what Rodriguez has been doing at home. And like I say, we've got question marks against Verlander. Detroit have been competitive today in a similar spot. So yeah, plus 160 with their stud on the mound. His last 2 starts have been absolutely outstanding. They've won 2-2 at home with Rodriguez on the mound. So they can make it 3 out of 3 tomorrow at a price of plus 160. And that is that, Moonaf. Anything we need to tell us about before we crack on?
No, I think we just about covered it. I know Thursday schedules and the Monday schedules tend to be a little less games with getaway day and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered it here.
Excellent. I will remind you once again to keep your eye out for the Kentucky Derby stuff tomorrow. Where are you going?
Oh, wait, did you guys read some of the reviews that we got in?
No. Well,
okay.
When new ones?
Yeah. So let me see. I know we got a couple in. I don't know if you guys read them or not. I know one was.
I think Noah mentioned some on Sunday.
Yeah. So I think. Hold on. Let me make sure here. Yeah. So one of your people over there left this one because I have no faith there was anybody in the States here. So Laker Boy 1 leaves a 5-star review and he says the title is Malcolm, Malcom. And he says Malcolm is the man. So that's just the review. That's just all it said.
Well, if you can't spell, it's going to be an American, isn't it? It's not going to be one of our.
That's true. Yeah, and the Laker boy usually is probably an American guy here. And then we got one more from JB Rock 0131. Leaves a 5-star review titled "One of the Best." It says, "One of the best MLB podcasts out there, and I really appreciate the knowledge that everyone is dropping each day. I love being able to compare my handicaps and picks to everyone." So appreciate everybody though with leaving those reviews for us. So do us a favor, if you haven't already, leave us a rating review. Definitely we'll shout you out on the pod. But yeah, thank you for those 2 reviews.
Yeah, really kind. Absolutely love it. Makes it worthwhile. So yeah, fantastic. Thanks everyone who joined. Captain Sanders put the fire out. A few people have come back. But yeah, we appreciate everyone getting involved. If you've never watched on YouTube, you should come along and get involved. Just good chit chat. The Discord channel is always full of beans as well. Thank you very much, Moonaf. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll go and find an hour's worth of baseball to watch. I might even have a little bet. We'll be back tomorrow in some guise or other. Good luck with all your bets. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.